So I wanted to tell you about the Horsenality clinic coming up, and I've been really enjoying that clinic a lot. We've done that about every year for the past 5 years, but this year we've got a little bit new element to it, and we have a special guest here that's going to help us with that a little bit. Before I ask Pat to join us, the Horsenality clinic this year has this special guest. So if you're in it riding a horse, bringing a horse to it, we have room for 10, and it's going to be a really good experience. And we're putting this sort of humanship aspect to it. And then if you're coming to watch, it's going to be way more than just watching. We're gonna have, and I don't know what to call it yet. Right now it says gallery, but it's going to be a bit more classroom along with it. So if you're coming without a horse, it's going to be quite interactive and quite nice, and a lot more going on than just sitting there kind of watching everybody else. So I have my one of my best friends in the whole world. His name is Pat Muzic, and he works for Progressive Insurance Company. And Pat, are you on there? Can you unmute yourself?
I'm here. I'm here.
Nice. All right. And I don't know if I got to remove my spotlight. Hold on. There we go. Then hopefully Pat will show up in the screen somewhere. Well, Pat, you're really good with Zoom. Do I need to press on something so your image shows up?
I don't know.
No, it's good. You're on. Yeah.
It's good. Okay. I use Teams a lot. I don't use a lot of Zoom.
Yeah. Mike just confirmed it's working. It's So, Pat, I want to ask you, since you sort of offered to come do this with us and join us on the Horsenality. If anyone's not familiar with that in this Zoom, it's a really good profile to understand horses, and they really deeply understand horse behavior. And then within the Pirelli thing, there's a humanality, horsenality, and I highly recommend you to go through that and match it, because it comes out with just a flurry of information about how you can change to help your horse and how those dynamics work. And it's really good. But then Pat came and visited us a few years ago, and we started talking about it, and he's like almost ready to explode because this is what Pat does. And so, Pat, can I ask you to talk a little bit about your experience with Peaches and what that meant to you,
Sure.
and what happened?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to share my story. I like to start with horses scare me to death, which is the first piece. I was not used to horses. I knew Tom loved the horses, and I've always been a little bit skittish because they're so big. I'm great with animals, but something about the horse size scared me a bit. And uh, Tom said, "Hey, I'd love to take you out, and introduce you to my horses." And I was really upfront about saying, I really have a fear, and all of my knowledge was, if I'm fearful, the horses will know it and they'll react to it. So I've always stayed sort of away from horses because of that. And Tom brought me in and introduced me to Peaches, who, by the way, Peaches is my best friend now. And we got to know each other. And Tom went through explaining the whole partnership and the whole trust and communication between the horse and the rider. And as he was speaking, I was thinking to myself, my gosh, this is so similar to what I do for a living. And as Tom mentioned, I work at Progressive Insurance. I've been at Progressive for 22 years. And my title is, I'm a leadership development consultant. And my role is to help people get along with people. If you're putting it in the most simplest of states, it really is getting people to communicate and to work with each other and to understand each other and to actually flex styles so that they can work well together. And everything Tom was sharing with me was just that. So one of the tools that I use heavily in my role is called the DISC assessment, and it's a behavioral assessment, but it's a communications behavioral assessment. And what it does is it allows you to see kind of where you're at from a communication standpoint. And it's not so much telling you you're something, but it's allowing you to open up to see more about yourself, maybe some blind spots that you don't even know about yourself. And it's also to help understand how others respond to you and how you should be responding to them. So when Tom and I were speaking about, this clinic, we thought, what a cool combination of helping people to better understand from a communication standpoint how to interact with each other, but how much it ties back in with how do you communicate with your horse. And I'm not going to get into any of the mechanics of the horse piece. That's your expertise, Tom. But but there are so many similarities there when it comes to the Pirelli philosophy in understanding the horse and that partnership. That actually I guessed that. I was gonna type it in, and I didn't want to guess because I thought, what do I know about horses? But yeah,
You would have got a
partner.
mug.
Yeah, I would have gotten a mug. Darn it, darn it. But absolutely, we're gonna work on that during that session in October. So anyone who's a part of the session, we are going to actually have you go through the assessment itself. You'll get a report on yourself. It's not, there are no right or wrong answers within the test. It's, you just are who you are, and it's a way for you to kind of just become enlightened in like who you are as a communicator. And I'm telling you, probably will help even how you communicate with your horse. I keep hearing the left brain, right brain. We talk about the introverted, extroverted, and how to deal with different personalities like that. So I know there's a lot of tie-togethers, and Tom and I are going to work together to make sure that the curriculum is really nicely tied together. So you're getting, like he said, you're getting the humanality part of it and the horse menality or whatever you're calling it. So it should be fun. I'm really excited about it.
Horsemanality.
Horsemanality, yeah, yeah.
I like humanship.
Humanship,
I'm settling down on that. Humanship.
absolutely, absolutely.
Raise your hand in here, and I think we can almost see everybody, but raise your hand if working with horses has helped you with relationships with other people. Just about it. Yeah, yeah. And
No doubt.
and this idea, especially understanding how you present yourself in such a way that it's the way that that horse would need you to be. It's just enormous. And what Pat is expert at. First of all, I'm going to brag on Pat. He's expert at helping, from a business point of view, helping teams work and making all that happen. But I call him, I don't know if you know this, Pat, I call you two sentence Pat. Because this guy can talk to anybody, and with just two sentences, he's completely disarmed them and made them feel comfortable. And I don't know how he does it. So I'm hoping to learn some of that from Pat. But I just think about that with our horses too, because it's love, language, and leadership, right? And the love word doesn't, we all love our horses or we wouldn't have done this Zoom tonight, right? But the love really means, can you help your horse to feel safe, right? And there's something about that and that understanding of how to relate with people that helps people feel safe. And just, I've never met anybody like Pat Muzic. He's just masterful at it. So,
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm really excited about it.
I am as well.
If you are in the gallery, there's somebody come up with a better word for, and auditor seems such a dry word also, but if you're in it without a horse, there's a day fee and then a 2-day fee to be in that. And if you're in the 2-day fee, you'll get the disc assessment. So if you commit to the 2 days, then there's finance in there for that. So and then like Pat said, if you're doing the horse part of it, you get the disc assessment as part of just the clinic. So nobody gets left out. And it'll be at H&P Equestrian Farm.
All right.
Mike, do you remember, is that a 2-day or a 3? That's a 3 days. 2-day. It's a 2-day because it's in the fall. Yeah. So beautiful facility, and I'm hoping that by then that whole COVID thing's in our rearview mirror by then. But if it's not, we will do what we need to do, spread out, do our thing. So I'm very excited about that. Pat, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Gosh, I can't think of anything. I'm just real super excited about doing it. I mean, this is so different, yet so much of what I do. So it's really nice to be able to tie different disciplines together, and have them make so much sense. And even since that first time I met with Peaches, every time I've been, to the equestrian center, I don't have that fear anymore. I've built that relationship with Peaches that I feel very comfortable with. There's still some things I'm not good at, but very bad at, but I've lost that fear, which I think is really, when we talk about communication, one of the things that you mentioned about horses is that trust, and building up that trust account. And that is so critical in communication, as it is with working with horses. So I just think there are so many amazing tie-togethers, and like I said, we'll work together and make sure that curriculum really ties nicely.
And when you said you were afraid of horses, he's downplaying that. He walked into the arena and got really tight, and I read it right away. I'm like, well, just stand by the wall. And I needed to go get something, and I just remember he just kind of walked towards you.
No, it was two horses, two of your horses. They were both walking toward me, and he had taught me about the hand, like their nose, and he said, put your hands up, and I put my hands up, and the two horses, they kept walking toward me. I was feeling a little nervous, but they walked right up, and they were calm, and it was amazing.
Yeah, and Pat's been riding Peaches too, so that's what a change, right?
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I see a lot of people in the chat are like understanding. Yeah, it's made me better with humans. Horses really help me be present in the moment more so than people.
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mindfulness. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I feel the most normal when I'm around horses. I don't know what. I guess that. I think we can all relate to that, I suppose. Well, thank you, Pat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And,
looking forward to it.
Feel free to hang out in the Zoom here.
Yeah, I'm going to hang out.
Yeah. Good. Does anybody have any questions or other things?